All right. Good morning once again. Today marks the third class for front-end development beginner. And then last week we discussed or we explained to ourselves how HTML is being used, the introduction to HTML, introduction to front-end development in general. And then we picked HTML for us to talk about. So we explain to ourselves the syntax, the attributes, the elements, the tags, and how HTML is being used. We also treated the declaration of HTML tags, the HTML document, treated the title, the head, the H1, that's the header, the heading, we treated the paragraph, the anchor tag, which is the linking. The one, the A tag that use the linking. We treated ordered list and unordered list. We treated list items. We treated images, how to use image, absolute image and relative image, same as the link, absolute link and relative URL link. And then I think the last thing was I can't remember. That was form, yeah. So we talked about form element also, which has to do with the label, the input itself, and the type of the input we are using, and then the submit. You know, when you have a form, you definitely need to submit the form. Okay, so inside the form element, we have the label, we have the input, and then we have the submit. The label and the input could be multiple, could be 3, 4, 5, depending on the form functions that you need. Okay, so then we have the submit, which is always one or two, whichever one to use. So, and then last week also we explained to ourselves how to use the VS Code because we have various various text editor. So, but then in this our learning, we are going to be using the VS Code only. We're going to be using the VS Code. Yeah, to learn why we why it was actually asked or yeah instructed to use CodePen to submit was because with CodePen you can easily get your link and then copy the link and submit it so you can view it. But using VS Code, there are ways in which you can share your code from the VS Code to other person. But then we're not getting to that yet. So now we're going to be using CodePen to submit our task for now. Okay, so basically you're going to be using VS Code as a text editor in this training. And then we talked about the extension, how to install, how to download and install VS Code. If you don't have it, then if you have it, how to open it, how to open the project, the new project on the folder, and then how to go around VS Code itself, the extension, how to use extension, and also how to use the live server, which is a very, very powerful tool that allows us to build code, HTML code on the browser, like live coding. When you make a change, you see it automatically on the browser with the help of the live server. So that is all and then I believe we all did very well in the task because I've been doing something very important. So today, or this week, we'll focus more on CSS, styling. So today we are going to start with the introduction of CSS, which is cascading style sheet. So if you guys can remember last week, I explained that we have two facets in web development. We have the front end development and then we have the back end development. All right. So, but then we as a front end development, we have other ways in which we can achieve the front end development itself. So we have tools and then we have things we need to know, which has to do with the HTML, the language, and you need to know the HTML, which was the last week. HTML is the hypertext markup language, which has to do with the skeletal structure of the website. I use a man as an example, a man without flesh, just a skeleton. That's the skeletal, that's the HTML. And then when you add flesh, you add the color of the flesh, yeah, that's styling, that's CSS. When you beautify the body, all right, beautify the skeleton. That's when styling comes in, which is the CSS. The same thing as, but as example I gave, the structure like a building. When you are arranging the blocks are arranged into the block building. It's a wooden building, you are arranging the wood. Then that's the HTML, okay? And then when you are painting, rendering, that is when the CSS comes. Beautifying, that's basically what CSS is all about. Beautifying the interface of your website. That's what CSS is all about. All right, and then okay, so but before I jump into CSS itself, I would like to explain what web styling is all about. Web styling, what I mean by web styling is, yes, we have CSS, fine, that is just web styling, but then CSS is a, a type of tool using styling. It's a type of sheet or cascade. Yeah, it is a type of tool used in web styling. You have other tools also that you can use styling your website. It doesn't have to be CSS, it's a choice. Okay. So that's why we need to talk about web styling. So web styling refers to the process of enhancing the visual experience of a website or web application using various design elements, layout structures, colors, fonts, and other visual attributes. It involves creating an aesthetically pleasing and user-friendly interface to engage and communicate with users effectively. So that's just web styling. Basically, for example, when you visit the website and then the whole styling looks somehow like it's not even friendly. It's not the communication, like you cannot communicate with the website properly, then you get tiring. You can just avail for this or something like that. You understand? So you just close the website and leave them because it's not really interesting. The website is not the appearance is more enticing, I would say, user friendly. So that's why styling is very, very important and very, very essential for the website. When you build a website, you have to style it. If you don't have a style, everything is just going to look straight forward, like just on a straight line. No alignments, no flex, and all of those things, right? So web styling is the process of enhancing the user experience, making it fun, so that people will come in and then like what they see, and then engage, spend more time on our website, and then you can do some other stuff on the website because of the styling. Even without JavaScript, with styling will actually track, okay, track people to your website. Wow, this website is really fine. And let me see what's it about. Even without JavaScript, people can just see a static website just because of the CSS styling, because they like it and then spend more time in the website and then see what the website is all about. So and then we have different tools, like I said, you can use in your styling. You have the CSS, which is a cascading style sheet. CSS, yeah, that's the basic thing. The first one I would say you use that's the basic styling, CSS. Then we have the Bootstrap. Bootstrap is like the CSS framework, sorry. Bootstrap is a framework for CSS. It enables or it allows you to write your CSS in line of your code. I'll explain that moving forward. It actually makes it easy for you to write a CSS that you want to style it. It makes it easy for you to write a CSS. Why SCSS is also a library. Yeah, it's actually a library that allows you to like it makes writing a CSS very easy. Everything like this, the Bootstrap, the SCSS, the Tailwind CSS, which is also a framework, the Material UI, which is for React, the style components for React, everything to CSS. But then what they actually do, why do we need all of those things to allow us to write our CSS efficiently and very fast, very, very fast. With CSS, fine, it's going to be fast if you know how to write it. But then by the time we get into CSS, we see why we need to use some of this framework because with the framework, we are going to write CSS faster. If you're supposed to write something in CSS, something like the background color then you specify background color to be red. With Bootstrap, you can just say BG red. That's, you see, just BG and then red, something like that. It's very easy, straightforward. And then with styling, you say background color, then you specify, then you say the color red, something like that. So that's just the difference between the frameworks and then the native CSS and styling. So, but for now, for us, we are going to be looking at the CSS only for now. So then, what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It is used to control the visual presentation and layout of HTML elements on a web page. To control the visual presentation, the arrangement of HTML elements on a web page. Ordinary HTML is just going to appear just straightforward, just straight on the straight line. Just on the column. All right, it's going to appear on the column. No centralizing, nothing like that. No color. Just going to appear on the column. But with the help of CSS, then it's going to control the visual presentation and layouts of the HTML elements on the web page. It separates the content from the design and styling of the page. So with the help of CSS, you say, okay, CSS will actually let you know, okay, this is the HTML and then this is the style. With Bootstrap, everything is together. With CSS, separates the HTML itself from the style. So, but we'll explain that moving forward. And then we have three types of CSS. We have three types of CSS styling. We have the inline CSS. We have the internal CSS styling. And then we have the external CSS styling. The inline CSS styling, like as you can see, is a type of styling that it's more of an attribute. If you guys can remember, last week we talked about tags, attributes, and then value. All right. So, but then I have the inline style example given here. We have the tag. This is the P tag, for example, and then this is the closing P tag. This is the content inside of it. And then we have attributes. Okay, this is the style attribute. And then I want to give it a color. All right. What type of color do you want to do? This is just an example of an you specify, okay, I want to start this particular element, this particular layer, and then after that, I want to give it a color. Inside this styling, then we have internal CSS styling, which styles defined within the style element in the head section of an HTML. This one, well, for our HTML, you guys remember that we have a place where we have edge and then we have body. We have edge, we have body. So inside the edge, we have our style, just the way we have it here on the screen. We're going to declare the style, the opening tag, tag of the style. And then in between it, you declare every of your styling. Yeah, like the P. This P is just to say that, okay, this is style now. So you have paint all paragraph I have in my HTML. That's all the tag I have in my HTML. So that's what this one is. Okay, so in this file also, and then we are going to call it style.css. Style.css. So, but then we are going to see all of these things today. uh, I'm not sure, but let's see how we go. If we'll be able to cover the inline styling. Okay, so let's get to so we just get to just go now. So you can any question, feel free to ask me now. Okay?
Very simple. So if you are sharing your VS Code, you can't see that yet. It's only your slide you are seeing.
Yes, yes, I will share that. Okay. Can you see my VS Code now?
Yes, you can see your VS Code,
You can see my VS
and
Code.
also please increase your voice. Yes, just reject it.
Okay.
Simple. So if you are talking, you are muted. So please, if you want to speak, kindly unmute your mic. I don't think he's saying anything. He's trying to set up his VS Code. So please, guys, just hold on a bit while he sets up his VS Code. Also, what we're talking about today is CSS. How to style your CSS, how to style your website to give it specification. So that's basically what we're talking about. The last week we talked about HTML, but this week we're talking about CSS. So it's trying to set up a VS Code and also put you through the way to style your CSS. So if you have any question, you can kindly raise up your hand. So I answer when the time trainer is coming up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Governor. Okay. Okay, so can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, you can see yourself.
Yes, you can see the screen.
Okay. So well, from the last project we've been working on, we built a cat app on HTML. We built a simple cat app, and then the cat app telling us about my cat, the name of the cat, like picture and some other stuff about the cat. So today, let me just open this, and then you can see how it looks like. Let's not forget, if you want to view your your code on the live browser, just right click on the screen and then open with live server. Okay. All right, so this, you can see how beautiful this thing is, right? But then this is going to be more beautiful by the time we apply our CSS to it. Here we have my cards, H1, H4, the list item, OL, and then UL. Then we have the paragraph, just a brief explanation of what a cat is. Then the images of the cat. Sorry, this is not a cat, although lion is still a cat family, so then it's not a cat. So then we have a link here just to explain to us how to use an import tag. We have form elements, which we used last week to get user first name, user last name, user email address, and then the date of birth of the user. And then we have a submit input also to submit a form after everything has been computed. So today we want to style this particular document. We don't have to like create a new document or something. So let's just continue working on this particular one and then give it the styling. Although I don't particularly have a style in some way, I'm just going to think of styling, something to do, and then we're going to do it today. All right. But firstly, like I explained from the slides, we have three types of styling. We have the inline styling, we have the internal styling, and then we have the external styling. So we are going to start with the inline styling today. Just a minute. We are going to start with the inline styling today. Okay, so how do we even go about this inline styling? How do we go about it? It's very simple. You don't have to like get confused. CSS can be a little bit tricky by the time you start using it, but then trust me, it's very, very simple. It's more simple than the HTML itself. If you believe that it's simple, and then you can achieve anything you want to achieve through the help of CSS, help of styling. So there are a lot of attributes that you can use to style your document. A lot of attributes that you can pass. A lot of you just have to look for it. You just have to search for it. If you know at some point you get to a level where you have to do some powerful attributes, for styling, some powerful CSS too. So in that case, you may not be able to like talk about everything here because everything on this slide. You have to like search for it and then okay, how do I achieve this with CSS and all? And you definitely get your answer. Okay, so how do we start with how do we go about the inline styling? For every HTML element, an example is this H1, my card, and H1. For every HTML element, you have an opening tag. Okay, and this has made it very easy for the inline styling to work. So inline, like the name, it just is a style that you apply to the element. Okay, it's a style you apply to the element that you want to change how it looks like. For example, my cat. My cat is currently, this is a view of my cat. It's currently black. But then I want to change the style. I want to change the color to, say, I want to change it to a blue, a blue color, for example. So I can just easily pass the inline style on that particular element, and then the color is going to change. All right. So now let's do that. So let's say we declare a style. That's the first thing. Declare your style. This attribute that I want to use now is a style. Okay. If you guys can remember, we have different attributes. Okay, yeah, on image we use SRC, which is an attribute. We declare an alternative to the image. We declare width as an attribute. So now today we're going to be declaring style as an attribute. Style. So I want to style this particular element. And then what do I want to do to it? What type of styling I want to pass to this type? I want to change the color. So color. That's styling to change color in CSS. Color. Just declare it. And then, well, luckily for us, VS Code has made most of these things very easy. Like made most of these things very easy. Okay. Which as you can see on my screen, just by typing color, then I have variety of options of color that I can select from. So that's the help of VS Code. Normally, I'm supposed to like not have this one. If I'm using, let's say I'm using my notepad, I will have to like declare it myself. All right, blue, yellow, red, or whatever. That's what I'll have to do myself. But then I can easily just scroll down and then choose anyone that I want to use. For example, let's say I want to use this alpha. All right, so this is just it. H1, then the style as an attribute. This I want to style this my cat. I want to change the color. Then I pass color in. All right, and then what type of color do you want to do to aqua? So this is the value. This is the styling attribute. So this is the styling attribute, okay, and then the color is the value of the syntax that you have here. Very simple. Now, if I should save that, then go back to my document. See, my card has changed to aqua. It's very easy to do about. All right. So let me try something. Okay, so now what do I want to change again on this? I can decide that this thing is too big. I want to change the size. I want to change the size of my card. It's too big. Okay, the parents, please just give me a minute. Let me finish with this my card and then I'll take questions. All right. So this is the styling, very easy, like I said. H1, then I target the H1, I give it a style. Then what type of style do I want to pass to this? Color, that's what I mean. Then the color should be which color? Aqua. I can decide to change the color again. If you don't have the suggestion, if you don't have the app, sometimes you just click on record and then you will see the suggestion. So you just have to type it yourself. Just type it. All right. For now, we are going to be using the common color. All right. We're not going to be using the Xcode or the RGB because you guys may not understand that serious. But then moving forward, we'll have to explain how to use the Xcode and the RGB as all right. But for now, let's just go with the basic common color that we the red, the blue. So now I decided to change the color from aqua to red. Now if I could save again, then check it. Very easy and direct. One text is changing to red. At the same time, here I can choose that I want to add another style. The size is too big for me. I need it. Oh, sorry. Let's say the size is too small for me. I need it bigger. Like I want it to be more bigger than this. All right. So how do I do that? I already declare color and then pass value red to you. So what I need is just differentiate between the first one and the second style that you want to pass. How do I differentiate it? By passing a colon, semicolon, sorry. So this is the semicolon. That's differentiating between the old styling and then the new one that you want to pass. And what is the attribute for what is the syntax, the CSS syntax for font size? The font size is font size, sorry. So just say font size like this, and then pass pixels. Forget about all of these things for now. Forget about all of these things. Let's just focus on using pixels. All right. Let's focus on using pixels. Pixels is pixel like px. That's the size. Yeah, like the way we have percentage, we have pixels. All right. So for now, we're going to focus on pixels. Pixels, you can use one, you can use two pixels, you can use three pixels. That's to tell you how big you want it and how small you want it. Just change the size of the particular text. So let's say, for example, let me just start with 20 pixels. So let's show you what that would be like. And we save, and then let's go back. See, my cat has reduced to 20 pixels. That means 20 pixel size of 20 pixels is smaller than the size of an H1. Okay, so but then I want it bigger. I don't want it to be this small. I want it to be really big. So how do I do? Just increase your 20 to like let's say 80 pixels. Then let's see. See, I have it very big on this. So that's the work of font size. The first one is to change the color, change it to red. Second one is font size, increase the font size, 8 pixels. Pixel is always px. Don't forget to add the px. If you have the 80 only, it's not going to change. See, this is is the normal size for each one. But then you have to add the pixel for the size to actually be effective, which is this. So it's very easy, very, very direct, straightforward. All of these are attributes of CSS that you need to know. These are the basic ones: the color, the font size, the alignment, the font weight. And then moving forward, we are going to explain this one by one. We won't know everything at once, just one step at a time. Thank you. All right, I will take questions now. The pairs, please, can you ask a question? Unmute yourself and ask a question. Don't forget, you can always drop a question on the group chat also. I think Obola will always attend to you. But then, yeah, let's go.
Good morning.
Only.
Yeah, please, all these attributes, how you call them, this style, color, red, font size. Is it that you are the one that made them like this, or is there a particular software that you have to get before you can make it like this?
You mean the color?
Yeah, like all these,
You mean
after
it's looking like?
yes, all this style, color. Is it part of like features of the VS Code, or are you the one that did it yourself?
Okay, well, it's an extension. Yeah, it's just like I said. I think I told you guys last week that I'm using a script here. So it's an extension, and sometimes your theme also will determine how this color combination is determined. The font, sorry, the theme you are using for your VS Code. So we can always decide the theme we want for our VS Code by coming to this settings where you see manage. So just click on the manage, and then here you can see color theme. You can choose your color theme. You can choose your file icon theme, how you want your icon to look like. And then you can choose your product icon theme. But then for now, if you want to beautify the way your VS Code text is being displayed, just click on color theme. And then here you can see different color themes. You can choose anyone you want to choose. You can choose the light VS Code, the quiet light, the colorize, and all of them. So, okay.
Okay.
If you choose them, like your
Yeah, sorry, simple so. I think your screen is frozen. Nothing. Deeper, please, can you unmute and ask your question?
Okay.
Mm. So go ahead, go ahead. Gospel, Deeper, don't you have a question? Uh, Gospel, can you please ask your question? I can see your hand is raised.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
On Simple Source Code, his HTML, I want to see like the form input tag when he displayed it on the live something. There's something at the edge of his input. Something at the edge of his input. I want to know what's that.
Okay, simple so. When you, I think you should go to your form.
okay, I think I get what you're saying. Well, that is Safari is my browser. Okay, let's not get confused. I know what you're saying. This particular icon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry. That's just Safari. Let me close this up. Let me close my phone.
Yeah, Sammy Obuma, please, can you ask your question?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sammy.
Okay, I'm just joining the class. I came in late today because of my network. So I don't know if you have passed a recap of last discussion. So I just want to ask a question concerning the last class. The image, the input of image, I noticed while trying to do that on my own, my own image doesn't show on the web page. Instead, I just see an image icon instead of the main image showing. So I don't know what was causing that. What the problem is for me.
Okay. There are two things. Is either do you have the image on your downloaded on your system?
Yes, I have the image downloaded on my system.
If you have the image downloaded on your system, then is the image in the folder that you are working with?
Yes, it is.
If it's in the folder you are working with, are you linking it properly?
Am I what?
Are you linking the image properly? Because if you have your SRC tag, in the SRC tag, if the image is inside another folder, you have to leave one step out of your index. You have something like dot slash into the folder that image is, then you call the name of the image. I
No,
don't
the
get
image
if you
is
understand me.
in the project file I'm working with.
Okay, it's in the working directory. If it's in the working
Yes.
directory, then what you have to do is a dot slash the image itself. A dot slash the image itself. If the image is inside another folder, what you have to do is you have to do a dot slash the name of the folder, then the name of the image itself. I don't know if you can, maybe after the class, you can just send a screenshot of your code on Discord so I can help you figure out where the error is coming from. But I'm sure where the error is coming from is basically how you are calling your image from your folder structure. I'm very sure
Okay.
that's where the error is coming from. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Simple, so you can carry on.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kubala. Okay, to answer the previous question, yeah, look at it now. Well, with the help of Safari,
That is
yes,
Tiger. That is Tiger.
I'm using MacBook, and initially I was displaying my code.
I said that the Tiger. This is the guy that's calling that is Tiger.
So,
That is
Akinola,
Tiger. Okay.
Even the date of birth has something on the edge too.
yeah, you just should have it. So, if you declare the type of the input to be a date, you should definitely have it too. Do you have issues with that? Can you hear me? Do you have issues with that? It's not displaying this should definitely have the calendar icon. If you declare the attribute the type of the input to be a date. So it's an internal styling of input.
Okay, yeah, it's showing.
All right. But the one you were seeing initially was because I was using Safari. Like my browser was Safari, but now I'm on Chrome, so you don't have anything to worry about. All right.
Okay, but like we can put that stuff later.
Yeah, you can definitely put it when we get to the styling that we're talking about now. So it's a very simple thing. All right.
Right, thank you.
Okay, then the last one, someone raised his hand now. Okay, I think that's the thing. Is not here anymore. All right. So let's go. Yeah, we were talking about styling my card. This is the eighth one that we style. And then we change the color, which is we change it to red. We also change the font size, 80 pixels. All right. Now, what else did I want to do? I want to um change the alignment. I want to bring this my card to the center because I don't like it the way it is at the left side or say maybe from the side, the right side. All right, I want to change the alignment to center. I can just say text align center. This thing is very sweet and straightforward. You enjoy it as you are writing it because you need something. Okay, I need text align. What I need to do is just okay, text. I need to align my text to the center. From the name, just write something with the help of VS Code. You're going to get it. Like okay, let's say I need bold. I need to bold this my card. So let me just try bold font. Font. Okay, that one will be a little bit confusing because to make your font bolder, you have to use font weight. All right, so that's just the weight of the font. That's bold. And then you can choose between 100, 200, 300. The higher the number, specifically the font is. So let's just go with 900 for now. So as you can see, we have 4 different styling attributes here. We have the color, which is red. We have the font size, 80 pixels. We have the text aligned. I want my text to be aligned to the center. We have the font weight 900. But please, let's just reduce this size because it's too big. Now let's save and then see what we have. Okay. So now the bold is not working because each one has an inbuilt bold already. So the bold is you don't see, but then it's bold for now. So that means if you're using H attribute, sorry, H tag, then you don't need the font weight because automatically it's going to give you the bold that you need. So now let's do this and then save it again. So yeah, this is what we have. Now we have my card centralized. All right, and then we change the size, and then we change the color. The next thing we need to do is to decide how do we want our about my card to be. Do I want to be at the center? My network is really big. Okay. Are you there?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, please, I'm having a little bit of difficulty following up with this CSS because I came late a little bit. All these attributes that you are talking about, is it that just like when we started HTML that you said they downloaded some extension? Is it like you have to download some kind of software before you can use this CSS before you can do all this, or you just do
No,
them?
no. What we don't, we are not, we didn't even do anything. Like we explained that we have inline styling, external
Yeah.
styling, and then we have the internal styling. So we are not calling anything. Everything is HTML in like I would say okay, it has already been integrated inside the HTML. The style has already been integrated. It's a
But
code.
all they are CSS.
What come again?
Yeah, I thought we are doing CSS.
Yeah, that's definitely what we are doing. This is styling. We are doing styling. CSS, like I said, 3 types of CSS styling. The inline. So this is the inline style of it. Inline type of styling. Inline means you're writing your style in line with the content, the tag. This is the tag, the H1, and then your style. This is the style. Anywhere you see style is telling you that okay, this thing that I'm doing now is CSS.
Okay.
Everything from here now, from style to this place is CSS. We are not installing anything or downloading anything. The only thing we need to do
It's
is
basically just
clear
PS.
entirely, just declare. For example, let's say I want to style my about card now. So I will declare the style as an attribute. The fact that as far as I'm still using inline styling, all right, as far as I'm still using inline styling, then what I need to do is to declare the style as an attribute to whichever tag or element I want to work with. All right. So now let's assume that I want to change the color. Well, I don't like this color. Please. Can someone suggest a color? Let's see a color. Eh?
Golden rod.
I don't understand what's golden rod.
Type it now. You see,
Like, where would you even suggest that kind of color? That's my concern.
it's fine now.
Are you sure? Let's see. Wow, okay, it's not bad though. Not bad.
It
Yeah,
matches the cat face.
yeah. Oh yeah, interesting. It does. All right, so let's go to the next one. So now we want to style our about my card. That's the subheading. So let's say our subheading should be. Can someone suggest another color that will match with the golden rod suggested by our person? Just a color. I want
Purple.
so purple will go with that. Purple. Okay, now let's bring it to the center. Okay. Don't forget, everything has to do within the quotes of that your style. Everything you're selling to do with it. So now let's say text align. So yeah. And then let's see. All right. So now we have this, the chart, and then we have about my chart, purple color under it. All right. So now let's go to the OL as other link, and then another link. Just a minute. Just these guys, just give me.
Victor, I see hand is raised. Do you have a question? If you do have a question, please kindly
Okay.
unmute and speak.
All right. Thank you, Akibobola. If you have any question, please kindly unmute yourself, and then let's solve your issue. But then if everyone is good, then we can move on.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yeah, continue.
Good morning, sir. Please, since I saw the output of the date of birth showing dates, please can I kind of have a glimpse of the code, sir?
I didn't get that, please. Sorry, I didn't get it.
So, I meant when I saw the output of the date of birth, showing calendar stuff, the my
Okay.
cards stuff. Please, can we just kind of see a glimpse of the code, sir?
You mean this?
Yes, sir. Can I see the actual code, sir, for it to kind of show the display of the calendar?
Okay. Well, like I said, just past type, activity type, date. That's all. Activity type, date.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Are we cool?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so now let's style our UL. Let's style. Well, we can choose however we want our web page to look like. All of this is just me trying to explain the different attributes, the different syntax in CSS styling. Okay, so now let's try and do something with this our UL. So let's say style. So we have this is what I want to do exactly. So we have border also. All right, we have border. You can declare your border. You can border means I want a line around my UL. That's everything. All right, I want a line to be around it. So, and then I can also choose the height of the OL. I can choose the display, which is the flex. To get to that, I can choose margin, space between. Margin is okay. You want a margin between two items. All right, I want to have margin between two items. That's just what you're going to declare. So you pass margin, you say, okay, 2 pixel, 3 pixel, 4 pixel, and then the same thing as padding. Well, when we get to using container, which has to do with the div and all of this, we're going to get to know all of these ones better. So, but for now, let's see how we can specify background color for this particular OL. So we have background color. Let's see, background color is just to change the whole background color of that particular uh, uh, ordered list. All right, so let me say for this background color, I can just say sky, let me say blue. But I don't use color combination, but then it is what it is. Okay, so now as you can see, background color gives us a background color, right? It actually changes the color of the entire ordered list. This is not targeted at the list item itself. It is targeted at the container that contains both the li, all of the li together. That's what the background color is. All right, so let me change this. I don't like this color. Let me just change this to something maroon. Maroon. All right, now we have a marron here. So I would like to explain something. Yeah, as you can see now, we have this name, vein and norm of legs is very close to the wall, like it's too close up and down. I need space between it. I need to have just a little space between it. So that's where padding and margin comes in. Margin is space between text or between content. For example, this guy, and this guy. That's where you have margin. Margin gives space between items, like allow items to have space, just be far from each other. Why padding gives space within a box, like the scope of a box. This is an example of a padding where padding is going to work. Padding means, okay, this container that I have here, this container, everything like this is a single item. So now this container, I need to have a padding in between it because my name and my norm is getting too closer to the wall. It's not making it so nice. All right, so I need small space. All right, so what do? I'll pass padding to this, to the OL. It's very simple. Padding. Let me just, okay, command that I need something else. Padding. So padding. Now using our padding, let's listen very carefully, please, because this can be very confusing. Okay, padding has four different attributes. Four different attributes. We have the top, the bottom, the right, and the left. The top, the bottom, the right, and the left. The top, the bottom, the right, and the left. So then you decide, okay, I want my top to be, you can either say horizontal and vertical. That's like, let me give an example for that. Let's say I have 10 pixels here. This is vertical, up and down. If you are declaring just two, 10 pixel, 20 pixel, for example, this is just two padding attributes. Then that means this is targeted at vertical and then this is targeted at horizontal. Just two. But then when it gets to four, when you have another one, you have another one here, 15 pixels, and then 17 pixels. Now, this is about top, top, bottom, right, left, if I'm not getting that wrong. I think Obola, please correct me if I'm getting that wrong. We have top, bottom, right, left, something like that. But then if I'm not using these two, what I want in my bottom, then we don't need to go ahead.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
All right, thank you. We don't need to go ahead by using that last two. Okay. So the last two is just when you want different thing for top, different thing for bottom, different thing for right and then left. But if you want an equal size for top and bottom, and then left and right, then just use two. This for vertical and then this for horizontal. So now, let me save it, then see how it looks like. Okay, so fine. Now we can see it. Let me change the text color so we can see it properly. This is very easy. Let me teach you guys one thing to make all of this thing easier. So one of the VS Code is, okay, you want to select LI everything at the same time because I want to give it the same styling. All right. I don't want to say, okay, style this one first and style that one first and all of that. It's going to like I'll waste more time styling my code. Instead of that, I can select the three list items at the same time and style it at the same time. How do I do that? Just click on this. That one is selected. Then hold your Alt, your alternative. Alternative is on your keyboard. It's mostly the one by the left, close, very close, next to your space bar. Next to your space bar. That's your, if you're on Windows. If you're on Mac, Alt is mostly beside your command. It's mostly beside your command key. Command key is next to your space bar to the left. Same thing as for window is the next one just immediately after before your command key to the left. Sorry, your space bar to the left. All right, now click on this and then hold your Alt, then click on the next one that you want to select. You notice the cursor actually join, the pointer join together. And I want to select the last one also. So this means that I've selected these three. I've selected these three list items and I can space bar and use my style. Then I need to change the color, right? So color. Then what color do I need to use? Let's just use something like white for now, or let's say white smoke. I think we have white mode. Something. Yes, we have white mode. All right, so now let's save it and then see the output. Okay, so now we can see the text coming out very well on the background. And then the padding is also working. For us to see the padding very well, let me increase this 10 pixels. Let me make it like 30 so you're able to see it very, very well. And then make this one 50. This one is left and right. So, but then we are not seeing it on the right because the right is already very long, so you won't actually see it. You can only see it from the left. So let me save it now. And then let's check it. All right, so this is it. So the padding top and bottom is 30 pixels. It's giving us enough space. All right, between this just in between, like inside the box, the container that we have, all of these are list items. And I have space up and bottom, and then I have space left and right. Let's say, okay, I don't want to have top and bottom. I want to have top more and then bottom smaller than top. So I can just use the 4 attributes that I explained earlier, something like this. Let's say, okay, I want 20 as my top. Sorry, yeah, 20 as my top. The first one is always the top. The second one is the bottom, then the right, and then the left. Top, bottom, right, left. Top, yeah, something like that. Top, bottom, right, left. That thing is kind of confusing sometimes, but you have to just check it, so you have to be sure what you're doing. Now let me say top 20 pixels, bottom 5 pixels, then right 20 pixels, and then left say 10 pixels, just like that. And just put it that way. So then I save. If I save it now, let's say display. Fine. See, now we have the top and the bottom different. Let me make this smaller. Okay, I think it's top, left, bottom, right. Yeah. So that's why we have 2020 the same thing. So top, let me write it for you guys so we can see. Okay. Okay, before we do that, let me just explain commenting. I want to make a comment right now, just to tell you what. Okay, so for you to make a comment, use control slash. That's the comment, control slash. Then anything you have inside of it is not going to display. It's not going to be like you're not going to see it on your browser. This comment is more like maybe something you need to write down, and then you don't want it to affect your code. That's when we come about commenting. Supposed to explain that later. Yeah, let's just explain it. Commenting. I need to have this thing so I can understand what I have on my code. But then I do not want it to affect my code. I don't want it to show on my display on my webpage. So I'll just put it in the comment. So what I want to say is padding. Now we have top right, top left, sorry, top left, bottom right. So this is it. So this is when you are using the 4. Now let's say you want to use just 2. Let's say we want to use just 2. One other thing I would like to explain is another way in which VS Code has made writing things very easy for us is you can easily duplicate this thing. Now I need to use this thing, okay? I need to use it again somewhere, like down. I want to use it like down. Instead of me copying like this, just going up and copying like this, then coming down and pasting. Instead of me doing all of this, I can easily just stay here and then use shift alternative down. Shift alternative down to copy that same thing that I have up and copy it down. Shift alternative down, down. As many times you flip it, you're going to have it as many times as you want. All right. And then you can just highlight everything like this and then do the same thing again. Shift alternate down. We're going to see the same thing that you have. So shift alternate down is just a way of duplicating what we have. It makes it very easy. So we are going to VS Code is very easy to use and it makes coding very easy for us. And then you need to just find a way to write some of these shortcuts down so it's going to you won't forget because it's going to really help you. Now we have vertical, and then we have horizontal. Vertical and horizontal. The first one, if you are using for, we have top. That means the first attribute is for top, right? Then the second one is for left. The third one is for right. And then, sorry, for bottom. And then the last one is for left. So that's just it. And then if you're using just two, whatever you have here, let's say I change this. And come, let me just make a change here first. Let's see if this is right. So we are expecting our bottom to have more space than our top. All right. And then let's make this 55. Okay. And then we're expecting to have more space from the left hand side. Okay. So let me just save and see what we have. All right. So it worked. So see, we have this lesser than this because the first one is top. Then the next one is the left. The third one is the bottom, and then the fourth one is the right. All right. So let's say I want to use those two. Now we have vertical and horizontal. Okay, you're raising. Let me come in. Details, please go on. Ask a question. Details.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I have two questions. The first one is that list items, the three list items.
Yeah.
It is how you highlight it together and work on it together like that.
You want me to do that again?
I said like the three list items.
Yes.
How did you like you change the color and the to white smoke together? How did you highlight them together?
Okay. What's the second question now?
Okay. All right.
Second.
You already explained the second question.
Okay. Well, to answer your first one, I said I want to work on I need same styling for different different tags, which is the li, the name, the color, and these are different elements because the name is different, the content is different, all right. But then I want this same styling for the thing, and it does not make sense for me to now say, okay, I'll first of all write for this one, write for this one, write for this one. These ones are not CSS, right? This one is just VS Code help, right? So let me say I want to delete this thing now. I want to delete all of this styling. I don't have to say delete this one first and then come back and delete this one and all of those. I can just get the three together and delete it. How do I do that? Click here. Anyway, just click on anywhere. Okay. But you have to make sure that that place that you click is where you want to do, you want to start your whatever you want to start from. So now I click on this place. Ensure you have to be very certain that the next one you are clicking is on the same scope, on the same place that you click the first one. So now you hold your alt, just hold your alt, hold it down, hold down while you are clicking. Click the second one. That same place. If I should click on now, then but I want the theory to click. So I have to own everything I want to click. Can you guys hear me? My network is going something. Can you guys? Oh, can you guys hear me?
Voice is breaking. Network.
Yeah, we can hear you. Just keep speaking. I think simple. So can you just hold on? Let me answer to this question. The people raising up their hand.
Okay,
Chris
fine.
Doho, please can you ask your question? Can you unmute and ask your question?
Please, my question is still what the girl asked, because I didn't hear what he said, how he made the cursor fit to the three elements. That's just it. I didn't hear. Please, can you
Okay.
repeat what you said?
What we did was you would press down your shift key on your keyboard and you keep clicking on where you want it to be. You keep clicking the cursor where you want it to be, and it's automatically there. So you can delete at once, and you can write something at once. If you have to write something in three different places at once, that's what you do. You press your shift key down, and you click on where you want to write something on, and you are good. So did I answer your question, Chris?
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Deeper, please can you unmute and ask your question?
Okay, please, on the group chat, some people are talking about this padding. Actually, me, I'm not really getting the padding. I can hardly see the difference on the website. Only the
Okay,
space.
okay.
Some are
Okay.
saying it's
Pardon,
wide.
I understand your question. Let me answer your question. Padding is a space in between an element. Let's use a carton, for example. A carton, when you have a carton, you know there's a space inside the carton and there's a space outside the carton. The space outside the carton is called a margin, and the space inside the carton, like now, you put a book on one side, you put another book on one side, and you want there to be space. The space inside the carton is called the padding. In your room, is a total house, and the space around the compound is called the padding, the margin. While inside your room, you don't want some of your properties to be beside the wall. That is what is called padding. Do you understand, Deeper? Hello? Do you understand? Deeper, if you are still there, Ogochukwu, please unmute and speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, just yeah, good morning everyone. So just to be clear on that. So I think you talked about, I don't know if DeepL is clear on that aspect anyway, but with regards to having like multiple yeah, you want to change things on multiple line. I think earlier you were saying you click on shift. I think the right thing is you click on alt, okay, alt and you select. So that's what you do. Alt and then you select. Then the other one was okay, what's the padding and margin aspect. Sorry, I think Bobola, you might have to mute a bit. Okay. Okay, so then for the padding and margin, so just think about it like when we're in primary school, there's this thing that we normally do where you have to write like you number at the margin of your exercise book. So outside there's a space for you to write, then you have a margin. So margins are outside. I don't know if we've talked about margins. So margins are outside. Padding is inside. When we're small, our parents normally get shoe for us, and then sometimes they are like oversized. So you might have to like put something inside the shoe. So you're padding it inside. So padding is usually inside. So if you have like if you have a container, let's say an element on your web page that you want to pad, normally there is a way of doing it. So it's usually you go clockwise. So you start from the top. The top side, the top is the first value. If you have four values, the first one is the top. The second one is the right, top, right, bottom, and then left. So top, right, bottom, left. That's if you have four values. Now, if you have two values, that means you're doing the top and bottom will take the first value, left and right will take the second value. if you're using just two values. Then if you're just giving a single value, that single value will affect every side of that rectangle. A single value affects every side of it. So two values, the first one is top and bottom. The other one is left and right. Three values, four values, top, right, bottom, left, clockwise direction. I don't know, I hope we're clear on that. Or does anybody have any question in regards to this? All right, so let me lower my hand.
Thank you. God bless. All right.
All right.
So yeah, we have different instances and examples based on the bottom, left, right, and top. So yeah. The first question, I think I'll just go through that again. As you can see my screen currently, like I said, I want to select the list item, all of these list items I have here, which is three. I need to select the three of it. And I don't want to, sorry, I need to delete this tab. I don't want it anymore. And I don't want to like delete for this one and then come back to delete for this one. I need to delete the three at the same time. It makes my writing very fast, my code writing very fast. All right. So what do I need to do is just to click on this one, select the first one where you want to do whatever you want to do, select it, and then to select the second one, you want to keep the first one selected, and then at the same time, select the second one. You don't want to select the second one and then go off the first one. You want to select the two together. So what do? You click on the first one and then hold your Alt, your alternative key. It is beside, if you are using Windows, it is beside your space bar key. Just hold it down and then click the second one. Then, if you really want to, okay, I want to delete all of these things, you have to ensure that this thing and this thing are on the same line for you to have a uniform delete. If you click like this, for example, and then you hold your Alt and then you click somewhere here, fine, the two is selected. But then by the time you start deleting, then you know you're not going to have a uniform delete. So it's best to just calculate it, target where you click for the first one, click the same place for the second one, and then hold your Alt still, click the same place for the third one. Then you can see that the three list item is being selected. You can see from the pointer, it's pointing on the three list item. Now I can now click to delete. Then the three item is written at the same time. The same way, if I want to style the three together, I don't want to style it one by one. I want to style the three together. So I'll click on this, then hold my Alt, click on the second one, select it, then select the third one. That means I've selected the three items, the three list items. Then I can decide to make my style, and then I change the color, and then white smoke. So that is how to use your cursor to like select multiple items at the same time and work on multiple items at the same time. So, and then on the padding, yes, we have explained padding. You need a space. Let me look for something that can use to explain. Okay, let me save this first. So currently the padding that I have is for vertical and horizontal, which is taking vertical is for both top and left at the same time. That means top is 20, top and bottom. Top is 20, bottom is 20. While horizontal is taking 55, which is 55 for right, 55 for left. Okay, 20 for top, 20 for bottom, because I'm specifying those two attributes. Then this is vertical, and then this is horizontal. This is taking left and right, this is taking top and bottom. So let's say it's still we have. See? So now, as you can see, if you can check this thing now, this is the same thing as this. Why we are not seeing the change on the horizontal axis is because already this our background is containing the full screen. So we will not be able to see the change from the right. But then we can see that, okay, from the left, we have 50 degree padding. Padding means it's giving us space between the wall and the content inside it. The wall and the content. You see space between the wall and the content inside it. Now, let me give an example of margin. All right. An example of margin is, okay, this content now, yeah, I don't want this content now is to give space between number one, number two, and number three. You can specify margin. Say, okay, I want margin between name, color, and num. So now I can say, okay, margin bottom for name for this list item, margin bottom should be 20. Let me show you guys. Yeah, I can just come to this, the first one, which is the name, Brisbane. So give okay, now margin bottom, because I don't want to, I cannot use padding here because it's not a scope. It's not a scope. The one I can use padding for is the OL, which is containing the three items. And that one is more like a container, as you can see here. The OL is like a container that contains an item, right? But then the name is not a container, it's just an item. So I cannot use padding there. I can only use margin. When you at some point you may need to use padding, but then that is for special cases. But for now, an item itself, you use just use your margin to give space between the item and the second item, like two different items. To give space between, you have to use your margin. So now I want to give space between the first one, green, and the second one, color brown. Brown. So I would say margin bottom, yeah. If we get to explain this one here, 20 pixels. Okay, so as we have padding that is taking top, right, bottom, left, okay, that is when we declare padding only. I can choose to declare margin only here also. All right, I can choose to declare margin only here, say margin only, and then say 20 pixels and 55 pixels. So this will give margin for top and bottom. Like I said, if you are declaring two attributes, it's going to be for vertical and horizontal. So this should be vertical, and then this should be horizontal. But in this my case, I don't need anything with my horizontal. I only need to give margin bottom. I don't even need margin top. For this particular one, I don't need margin top. I only need margin bottom. So instead of doing all of this, I can just declare, just say margin bottom. Yeah, margin bottom. We have margin bottom, we have margin. If you are using margin bottom, then you have to pass just a single attribute. That means this particular margin that I need now is for the bottom, and I can say 50 pixels. We have margin top also. We are going to use margin top for this one, and then margin something else for this one. So, but let's just save this, and then margin bottom. Now I expect to have space between my Brisbane and then my brown. All right. So now let's check. See, this is just giving margin between Brisbane and the second one. It's very easy. All right. Just have to, all of this thing is a concept. And then, okay, you understand why do I need to use this thing? Which one should I use here and why should I use it here? That's just the thing. All right. If I use padding, it may likely work if I use padding here, but it does not make any sense because if I should give this background color with padding, then it's going to look somehow. So, but then for an item, a single item that you want to give space between another item, you need space between this item and another item, then you have to use your margin. Then, depending on where the item is. Now, let's say the last one, number of legs. I need to give space between this one and this one. So I'll definitely use margin top for number of legs because I can't use margin bottom. There's nothing bottom here. It's actually space between this number of legs and then the brown. I can say I want margin bottom for color brown. If I should give this margin bottom, I'll have space at the bottom of color brown. All right. But then we've already used margin bottom. So I want us to use margin top for the number of legs. Now let's try that. Margin top. And then I can say, let's say 25 pixels. So if I should save this now, then I have 25 pixels margin top. Like all of these things are very easy, very, very easy. Now, what I want you guys to hold is, okay, margin and bottom, they take the same attribute, but then they perform different functions. A padding gives space around, yeah, a box or a container, I would say, a container. This is a container for this content. Now, I need padding. That means I don't want this content to be touching the wall. Wall means I don't want it to be too close to the edges of the content, the container. So I need to give it padding. And if you are giving padding, you give padding to the parent, right? You give padding to the container. That is the one that like is going to like expand itself to the content based on in relative to the content inside. It's going to like expand itself. If let's show an example. Let me remove this first, and then let's save. That means we don't have a padding for now, right? So let's see what it's going to look like. Okay, see what this thing is looking like now. All right, so now, as you can see now, we have the name very close to the top, and then the norm of leg very close to the bottom, which is not right. Okay, so I need to have space. Like you can't just be close to the wall. Why would you be close to the wall? So now I'm targeting this mother, this parents now that, okay, mother, this is what you do. Since your children now are too close to you and we need small space, let us break, right? Then you have to call the container and then give it a padding. I need you to expand yourself in relative to the content you have inside of you. That's when the padding comes in. Padding, expand yourself, right? Give space. Just maintain what is inside you. Don't worry about it. But yourself expand in relative to what you have inside of you. So then that's where, but then let me use the padding bottom here in this case. So now for the first one, I need padding bottom. I don't want up. I just want bottom. So now let's say comma padding bottom. All right. Like I said, they have the same attributes to perform different functions. So padding bottom, let's say 55 pixels. Then we save. And let's see. Fine. So now this bottom is only targeted at the bottom. There is nothing. Currently, the top is just like the first, right? Because we are not calling the top at all. So, but then why I mostly use padding only, why I don't use this one, the padding bottom, is because I need to have an even space. All right. I can't have this thing. It's not like user friendly like this. The interface is really poor. So I need an even space, top and bottom. I need an even space between the top and the bottom. So that's why I need to like pass. Well, you can still do the same thing by doing like this, padding top. Just call it like this and then 55 pixels, right? This is also the same thing as padding, then you pass top and bottom. So this will do the same thing also. So now I say, now let's see what happens. See, as easy as that. If you notice, the contents remain the same. Where they are, they remain the same. The only thing that is changing is the size of the container, which is the padding. The padding allows the parent, which is this, to expand itself in relative to the size of whatever it is inside of it. So that's just it. But well, do I need to like go all this way to stress myself writing padding bottom and padding top if I can just easily write padding? If I can easily write padding. Someone is sketching something on my screen, please. So padding, and then I can specify top and bottom, say 55 pixels. And then I don't want left and right. If I don't want left and right, just make it 0 pixel. You can use 0. If 0 does not make pixel, 0 is always 0. But then to have a uniform code, just do your pixel. So that means top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom to have 55 pixels. Then left and right you have 0 pixels. So now let's save. It's still going to do the same thing as imagine padding bottom and padding top. So fine. Now it's very the same, very much the same here. So the top still takes the same 55, and then the bottom takes the same 55. Why this returns back to 0 is because I pass is 0. That means I don't want anything. I don't want any space here. I don't need any space to the left. So now let's say, okay, well, I don't like the way this thing is looking like. I need small space. I can either remove it because a list item by default has padding left. OL by default has padding left by default. But then since I declared, I made it to be 0 pixels. This overrides the padding left, right? Then it turns to be 0. Now I need a padding left. So let me say, okay, just do like this. Padding left. Let's see if it's going to override the first thing. Let me use what it takes to. I think it's going to override it. Okay, yeah, it did. So now I have padding left 40 pixels, padding top 55 pixels, padding bottom 55 pixels. So and then in between the content, I need space between this content. As you can see, this between this and this is 50 pixel margin between the 1 and the 2, 50 pixel margin. And then the space between 2 and 3 is 25 pixel margin. 25 pixel margin. So that's just all about that. And I use margin bottom and then margin top for this. If you have any question, please. I don't want us to get lost because of the padding and the margin. I really don't want us to get lost. So if you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand and then okay. Samuel Boma, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Still about this padding. So instead of overriding the padding that putting padding left, can't we just put the say that 0 instead of writing 0? Instead of writing 0, why not put 25 pixels?
Yes, you can. Definitely, you can. You know, sometimes writing codes, it depends on yourself, how you want to write your code. Well, what I'm trying to explain is, okay, how the override can work if you declare one and then you declare another one, okay? So that's why I have to like use the padding left. But then without this, we can still remove this. You don't need it, like you say. It's like repeating our code, which does not really make any sense. The developer don't repeat code. Okay, you try as much as possible to make your code very small. So let's just say this 40 pixels instead of the 0. Then to save it, this top and bottom and then left and right. It was the same thing. All right, so we are still good. So Sammy, yeah, thank you very much for that. All right, George, you sang. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. George. All right, George is not here anymore. Okay, so now this is all about background color, padding, and then margin. So for our on other list, we want to use border for on other list. And then before we go there, I want to have a border around all of this together. I don't want, it's not like I want to have a border just around the location. I want to have it around the two together at once. Okay, so then I will target the UL, which is the parent to the LI. One thing in HTML is whatever you have inside, whatever that supersedes you, like your superior is your parent. Like this now, this LI, they are children. While the UL is parent to this. Like the parent to LI is UL. Well, UL is also a child to another thing, which is the body. As you can see now, the body supersedes the UL, right? So the UL is a child to the body, okay? And at the same time, the body is also a child to the HTML. So whatever supersedes you is your mother, while you are the child. So that's just the idea. So if I should say, let's target the parent of LI, that means we are targeting the UL. So now let's style this and then give it a border. Okay, let's say border, let's see, let's say 2 pixel. 2 pixel, I'll explain this. Solid, and then green. Maroon. Yeah, maroon. Okay, maroon. All right, thank you. All right. So how does border work? Like border. That means having like a border around a content. Just a line around. Let's see the look first, then we'll come back to explain to ourselves. Okay, so as you can see on my screen now, the line that surrounds the list item, that's the border. The line that surrounds the list item. So now that's just a border. That's just the literal border. So we have different type of border. It could be dashed, it could be dotted, but let's not go there yet. Let's explain. This is the border. We declare a border. The first one is always the thickness, the width of the border. Let me write a comment. I hope you still know how to make a comment. Just um just control and then forward slash. Just control and forward slash and then type anything inside of it. So I want to explain what borders do. Border. Then border we have the first one is the width, which is the thickness. In case you don't understand the width. So that's the thickness. And then the second one is the type of the border. You have three type of border. You have the solid, the dashed, and the dotted. So the type, then we have the solid, we have the dotted, and then we have the dash. Then the last one is the color. Then color could be anything. Just choose your color. The first one, border have three attributes also. The first one is the width, which is the thickness. And like you remember, anything that has to do with size, we use pixels. For now, we are using pixels. That's why I have to apply 2 pixels. If I should say 9 pixels, that's the thickness. Then the solid means I want it to be solid. Just I don't want to have a break in between it. It should be joined, just a straight line of border. Okay, that's the solid. And then the maroon is the color. The last one is the color, which is just the color of the border you want. So let's use dash here. Let's use dash here, then save it. See what it looks like. Okay, so now this is it. This is also a border, but then it's a dashed border. Why is it thicker? Is because I use 9 pixels. That's why it is so thick like this. So 9 pixel, is very thick. Then dashed gives space between the lines. Dashed, just the way the name dashed, and then the color, the maroon. Okay, so now let's say I need to use dotted. I don't want to use that. You can choose whatever you want to use. Dotted. Okay, now I'm saving it. Right, this is dotted. So this is how the dotted. It's also a border, but then it's a dotted border. So that's how the border looks like. Then also, all right, if you have any question concerning this, please feel free to raise your hand or drop your message on the group chat. So that's border. Border has 3 attributes also, 3 syntax, 9 pixels, which is the first one, the width, the thickness. Second one is the type. So I said we have solid, dotted, and dash. Solid is a straight line. Dotted is dot, 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 just around the content, and then dash is to have space between the line. And then the last one is the color of the border element. All right. At the same time, like you guys already know that if for every of these attributes, you can also specify it differently. You can specify it differently. If, for example, you just want, let's say, border width. Sorry. Okay, let's just try it. Let me remove this border for now. We'll come back there. So border width, I can choose to have border bottom, border width, border style separately. The border only gives me the 3 together, 9 pixel, everything together. But then I can still choose to have this differently by saying, okay, I have border width. So border width is the first one. Border width is the first one. Let me say 5 pixels. So if I don't want to use these 3 together, I can choose to use it one by one. Border width is the first one. The second one is the dotted, the border type or border style. Border type, yeah. Border style. Let's use it. Okay, yeah, border style. So that's the second one. Do you want it dotted, dashed, or solid? So let's say dotted. And then the last one is the border color. Border color. So then you can say maroon. Sorry, maroon. Someone wants maroon. All right. So all of these is just see CSS is really interesting actually. Instead of you writing border width, border style, and then border color, you can just join everything together at once and then specify it border. And then you have 9 pixel, dotted, and maroon. No stress, nothing. You just have to understand what this one is doing and what the other one is doing, and why do I need to use it? Well, in some cases, you don't want a dotted, you don't need a color. You want it to be black. So you can just say border width. You only need the size to be thicker. So you call the border width straight. And then maybe you only need the style, you call the border style width. But trust me, you cannot call a border style without having a border width. You know, you need a width to style it. If you don't have a width, that means there's no border. So without a width, you can't have a style. All right. Without a width, you can't have a color. You have to have a width before you can have a style and a color, a border color. So that's the theory. But then instead of this border color, border dot style, and border width, you can just use this theory at the same time, which is a border, 9 pixels dotted, and then maroon. So yeah, let's save it and then see it again if you have any. Okay, we are still the same thing. But then I need to, guys, like give space. This location is close to this border. I really need space. Like I need to have small space, like gap between the top and the bottom. Like it's too close. What do I do? Please, just I need a response on the chat. What do I apply? How do I fix that? I need space. This is too close to the wall. I need more space. Like, why will you be so close? You want to suffocate me, stuff like that. So just let me see your chart, please. And padding, okay. What kind of padding? Or I should just use padding anyhow.
Yes, can use padding.
Padding, thank you very much. Padding. See. All right. The one who I will take your question very, very soon. Just give us a minute. All right. So still inside the style, I need the padding. So, but then I need the padding top and bottom. Top and bottom. So I could just say, what should I use? Let me say 30 to and then let's say left and right. I could also choose. Okay, I think I forgot to mention that. And when you specify one, when you pass just a single attribute, then you are targeting the box itself. That means left, right, bottom, left, right, bottom, what? Left, right, bottom, left, right, bottom, top. Sorry. So yeah, now I want to pass just that pixel. That's just a single attribute to the pattern. So this means my left will be 30 pixel, right 30 pixel, top 30 pixel, and bottom 30 pixel. So now let's check it out. Okay, so everything is taking 30 pixels, everything. So that's just another short way. If you have a box and then you want an even square space, even square padding between inside the box. So you just call your pixel directly, pass one attribute, and then it's going to affect the entire box. So that is padding. Okay. All right. So now let's see that here, this location, I need to have a margin button. I want to, I can use a margin button also, and then I can use a margin top. All right. So as much as I can use margin only to, sorry, the next margin, no, border. As much as I can use border to give myself a rounded border like this, a border entire, like circle the whole content, then I need another border to just be under this location. I don't want to have the border around it. I want to have the border just under it. How do I do that? Okay, let's just do it this way. What is it? All right, now let's target li. Since this is the one I want a border for. So let's target the li, say style, and then I'll call border bottom, border bottom, border bottom. So then I can say the border bottom also we should have a width, a type, and then the color. So let me say 150 solid, and then what color, what color? Okay, I think gold what the man said that one. Golden raw. Okay, see. So now let's see. All right, okay. Now let's see how it looks like. All right, so now look at our location now as a border bottom. That means see, let's see now. Okay, let's see. Okay, so our location as border bottom. Okay, so but this border bottom is missing somehow. I need to have it shouldn't be too close to the location. All right. Now in this case, now hey, this is another place where padding comes in. If you notice, this list item to this border now is a container on its own. Now I specify a border for the location, which is the border button. But then I need to have small gap. I don't want the location to be so close to this border. It's too close. So what do I need to do? I will just call this because as it is now, the location is a parent to the border. So I will just call the location and then pass adding button to it so that I can have small space between the text itself and the border. So now let's do that. Yeah, adding button. Everything is still what we are saying is in the morning. So let me say thank you, adding button. Now let's see how it looks like. Okay, so this is fine. So now I have small space, but it's too much. Let me make it 5 pixels. Okay. All right, this is okay. Now I have gap between the border and the text itself. Note that this whole thing is together. The location and the border is together because we pass the border to the location. Okay. The border has nothing to do with this nickname. That one nothing concerning. All right. So the border is only together with the location, which is the border in Lagos State. Now, what do I need to do is to give space between this location and the nickname. So I could just say margin top for the nickname to give space between this and that. So now let's do that. Now let's target our nickname, style, margin top, and then we say let me do this 10 pixels. Oh, sorry. 10, 10. And notice something with VS Code. If you are doing the wrong thing, it's going to underline red. So for example, let's say I just, instead of having this my 15 pages inside of this place now, when I now wrote it there, 15 pages, see, it's in a line. That means this is error. Please go check your code. So it should be inside of it before the semicolon. So 15 pages. Now let's say I need margin for between the logos. All right, now we are good. I can also have the border. I can have border for this one also. So let's just call the border. Border button. Yep. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what we have. Okay. That means I will definitely need a padding too. I hope you are following. All of these things have been done before, so and then the whole thing is clear. Okay. All right, so we are good. Now we have border button for location and then border button for nickname. And then we have to margin in between the two. Because this one is the nickname is having a margin for of 15 pixels, which is given this margin here. All right, so Now, last thing I would like to talk about today is still the border radius. If you see this border now, the container, the parent of this content now, the border is actually having a sharp edge, a sharp edge. But to change it, I want to have a radius, like I want it to have a curve, not just having a sharp edge like this. I want it to have a curve. Okay, so how do I do that? I'll just target the parent. Like I said, if I say target the parent of this content, that means I'm targeting the UL. So now let's go here. I'm targeting this is the parent, two or semicolon, and then say border radius. That one is just a single value, just a single value. Then you can say 10 pixels. Now let's check. Oh, let's make it more. All right. So now we have a border radius. A radius means a curved edges. Instead of having just the very sharp edge, you can have a curved edges around your container. And then, yeah, we have border radius 30 pixels, which affects everything here. Affect everything here. But then we can still make it to affect just the top. I don't want to affect the bottom. Well, I'm not done that before, but let's see. 0 pixel. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so it did. All right. So border radius, just the way we have our padding also, right? We have our border radius also like that, where we can specify that, okay, I want to have a radius. This is the top left, and then this is the bottom right. The top left to the bottom right. Then the top right is still having the normal edge because here we have 0 pixel for the top right, and then the bottom left. So, but then if I should say I want 30 pixel, 0 pixel, let's say 50 pixel, and then 10 pixel. This is targeted at just the way we have it in the top right bottom left. So now let's see. Let's see. Okay, so we have different styling for this is let me see, this is 30, 50. All right. This one is 30 pixels as the first one. This is 50 pixels, second one. Then we have 10 pixel, which is this. This is 10 pixel, and then this is 0 pixel. So the way we can specify that, okay, we want top left, bottom right, the same way we can specify it for our border radius. You can choose how you want it to look like, and then you can decide, okay, I want this place to be curved and this place not to be curved, to remain the same. And at the same time, just like I said, that CSS is very interesting. You can choose to decide to declare border bottom, border radius bottom, like that. So we can say border top radius, border top right radius, and then border top left radius. Just to declare like, okay, this is what I want only. This is what I want only. I want only the top left. I want only the left bottom. I want only the right bottom, just like that. The same way, whatever it is this one is doing, this one is doing also. But this one is targeted at only one side of the boiler. So that's just, but then why do we have to go all of this process instead of when we can just easily pass the size here? You will get to need all of these things later when you face some crazy design that you need to give them your best. Okay, but by the time you start having designs from designers can be very fun. They'll just give you something that you know, okay, this you have to think. So in that case, you have to like be specific with the styling. Specific by saying, okay, for that top left radius, for that top right radius. So yeah, that about styling for today. We are already out of time, below 59. I'll take questions, but before then, let me just go through what we were able to keep ourselves today. So we started with our styling inline of the elements that we want to style. It is inside of it. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So the styling we are using is an inline styling because we have it
Yes.
inline of the content that we are styling. Now H1 now is the content is the tag, and we have the style inside of it, which is used to change the color, the font size, and then the text align. Okay. And then the H4 we do the same thing for that. Then the OL, we give our OL a background color. Background color, as you can see, this is how it is written inline. So background color maroon, then the padding, top and bottom, 55 pixels, left and right, 40 pixels. So the same thing we do, we give color to our list item, we give it color white smoke, and then margin bottom for the first one, 50 pixels, margin bottom to, margin top to the last one, 25 pixels. Okay, and then the UL, we apply border to our another list here. We apply border. So the same way we applied padding here using the border, we have three attributes to the border. The first one is the width, second one is the type of the border, and then the last one is the color of the border. So the width is the thickness, the type has three types, which is the solid, dotted, and then the dashed. Then the last one is the color. What color do you want the border to have? So that's where we pass the border. Like I explained, now we can have these three things differently. If you want only one, you want to like, okay, I need to know what I'm writing so I can easily explain to someone. Then that's when you need to have like, you can say border style, border color, and all of these things. But then we don't really need it, okay? Because as a developer, you have to find a way, or best way that you can make your code short. Okay, so that's why we may not need the border color, the border type, and the border width. And then for the border, we need a padding. We pass the padding. This padding is for box. That means the entire box you take the same padding size. 30 pixels for top, 30 pixels for bottom, 30 pixels for left, and 30 pixels for right. And then border radius is to give us a radius, a curved edge, a curved edge of our border instead of having a very sharp edge. You can apply your border radius to this background color also. It's going to work. Okay. But then we only okay, let's try and apply to our background color also. So let's do something like border radius. Okay, then we can say let's say 40 pixels. Okay. Then let's save it. What it looks like. Okay, that's it. So it's also applicable to that one also. So it's just the container itself, it actually just give it a curved edges, a curved area edges. Instead of having the sharp one, you can have the curved edges. So that's what the border radius is about. Okay. And then yeah, we say that we can have padding bottom, padding top, padding left, margin bottom, margin left. And then at the same time, we can choose how we want our border radius to be. See, I passed 40 straight because I want everything to be 40 pixels rounded. Okay. But then if I want one part to be very curved, like 40 pixels, I want this one to be curved more than the way this one is curved. I can now decide to okay, pass different attributes to each of it, different values to each of it. And I would say 30 pixels for the top left. Yeah, top left, yes. Then 0 pixel for the next one, 50 pixel for the next one, and then 10 pixel for the next one. So that's just it. And then at the same time, you can still decide to split this one into 4 by saying border top left, border top left radius, border bottom left radius, border right top right radius, and border top bottom radius, and all of those things like that. So it's just however you want to use it. Okay, I believe you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Border top left radius, border top right radius, border bottom left radius, and border bottom right radius. It's as simple as that. Don't get confused. From the border radius that we have, we don't need to like call all of these things. We don't need it. It's just press play. Just use your border radius directly. Call everything and then it's going to work. The same way the last one, the one declaring control. So now let's take questions. If you have any questions, because we're going to end it here today, and then next week we move on to the next styling type. Those ones are really, but by next week we are going to get into div, container, how to use flex, display, read, and all of those. So, but for now, this is the basic styling: the color, the text, typography, how to make your text look nice, and then the border. So let's ensure that we go back and then read more about this basic styling, so that by the time we come next week, then we'll start talking about flexes, div elements, and display, all of those things. Position is not going to get confused, because by then CSS is going to get deeper, deeper, and deeper. So I don't want us to get confused. You can also go to, like I said, the W3 school, read through some of those things before Thursday, so that by the time we start discussing or talking about it on Thursday, you're going to get more familiar. It's not going to be like a strange thing to you. Okay, so now questions before we go. If you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. I know the whole class is not like really much. You just focus on the border radius and then adding and so on. But then if you still have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. If they please submit yourself and ask a question. And after that,
Okay. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Huh?
Yes, I can hear you.
I said, can you hear me?
Can hear
I can
you.
hear
Yes,
you.
you can hear you. Please talk.
Okay. I want to ask that padding. If you want to separate items, do you add it to the mother element, that's the parent element, or to each item itself?
Okay. Well, moving forward, there are styling in which you can use. You target the parent if you want to have an even space between the children. For example, if I want to have even space between name, color, and name, okay, there's a way I can style my parent to give me those spaces. But that's like an advance away, like further CSS. But now, the only target style itself that we want to play with. So we want, can you mute yourself, please?
Please mute yourself.
So, all right. So, like I said, for now, as you can see here, we targeted the name Brisbane because we need to have space between Brisbane and then the color brown. So, what kind of space? We don't need space top. We need space bottom. That's why we use the margin. The padding works for the content. Sorry, the container that wraps the content. Let's not get confused or maybe mix these things up. Padding. Well, in some cases, padding can work to give space between items or two, but it is not nice at all, because if you use padding, that means you are giving space in between, like within the text. Then when it comes to you maybe styling or flexing or giving background color, then you're going to have a gap under it. Okay, let me show you guys an example. Let me just use an example of that. Let's say this margin now, we change it to padding button. Okay, now let's see. It's going to give us the same thing also. Let's see what we have. Okay, fine. We have the same thing, right? But then now let's see if I should give color to it. Let me just give background color to that text. Background color to alcohol. Okay, then let's see. See what we have. Now we have the padding is taking like it's giving gap between the name and the word of the name. All right, because like padding expand the content. Like it's just okay, this content inside of you remain the same, but then the content will now expand itself. That's the wall of the name is expanding itself. The wall of this name is expanding itself. It's not like giving space. No, it's not. It's just expanding itself. It's not like okay, say when you are sitting in a car Okay, instead of giving space, like just adjusting for someone else to sit down, or maybe you have another person beside you. Instead of adjusting, instead of that, you decided to like expand yourself. Now feel free. Then you like stretch your leg and all of those things. So stretching your leg is a padding. Like, okay, this guy now is stretching its environment. I want to stretch my space. I'm not stretching I'm not like giving space myself. I'm just stretching my space. Just the box that I'm inside, I'm expanding it to give me more space, more ground, instead of me shifting. So with padding, you give yourself more ground. That's just it. You give yourself more ground, which is what this guy did here. Give itself more ground. Now, the number one now is now taking all of this ground now. But then, how do we just give the margin? Just give the space instead of taking more ground. Just give the space. That's what we need. Then that's where we use our margin. That's when margin is very, very important. We don't use padding here. Instead, we use margin. You may come across a design that may require you to use padding there, but then for you to give space between two items, it is best to use margin. Okay. So now this is it. So I use margin to give us space between 1 and 2. But then the margin is not taking space. It's not containing the space. Instead, it's allowing, like adjusting itself, moving, shifting from where it was before to another place. So that it does, okay, I need space between this person. I don't like this person to be inconvenient. So I allow myself, just give myself space. If I use padding, I create more space for myself. So that's the difference between the margin and padding. So yeah, to give space between items inside the container, we can pass a property to the mother, to the parent. But then when we get to that, we'll explain that ourselves. But for now, we are passing a property to the list item itself, to the child itself, so that the child can determine how many space do you want between the next content. So that's that about that. So other questions, please. Let me see. Okay, I don't think we have any further questions. That means we are all clear with this class. Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if Akinbobola is still here. Please, do you have anything you would like to like share with us before we round it up? And then Mr. Gochis, please, if you're still here, immediately after Akinbobola, I would like you to just tell us one or two things, moving forward and how to best make ourselves as content developer. Thank you very much. Akinbobola, please. Okay, Sammy Oguma, okay, your question, please. I believe, I don't know if Akinbobola is not around for now. So, Sammy, just a question.
Okay, it's actually a question I asked before. I was asked to send, I don't think again. I send the picture of what I did. Sorry, the image not showing on my.
Yeah. Have you sent the screenshot to Slack to Discord?
To Discord, okay.
Okay, Akinbobola will attend to you on that. Yeah, so you can just chat him up on the Discord channel and then we'll fix it for you. Well, we can't really tell you what the problem is because we are not seeing your code. So it's best just send the screenshot in Discord and then we'll get it fixed. So Mr. Akinbobola, please if you have anything to share with us. Oh, Godwin. Okay, Godwin, please ask. If you want to ask questions, feel free to raise your hand. Don't raise your hand and then run away. No, don't do that. Godwin just raised his hand and then he ran. Okay, I think about like if you have anything to say, then share with us. But then if you don't have, Mr. Tips, if you still there, you can just tell us on the statement. Make us a better.
Yeah, I don't have anything to share. We'll meet on this.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Gochuk, if you're still here, mentor for Gochuk, if you're still here, please kindly share us one or two things you'd like to, for us to be doing to be a better content developer, and then how to make ourselves, how to make this whole environment easy for us.
Sorry, simple. So did you say something?
Yeah, I just said if you want to share anything to us, like we are running up already, and then if you're allowed
Okay.
to share out,
Perfect. Okay. So well,
I like the enthusiasm that I'm seeing from people that are learning from you guys. So it's actually interesting. So they are well, you keep learning new things every day. And yeah, I was saying something about the whole inline styling. Well, we are still we're still learning. At some point, you won't have to do this because inline styling can get very messy. Because imagine having to deal with writing styling inside here and also writing your HTML inside here. So that's why at some point you now need to also learn how to do external styling. There's internal styling, there's inline, and then there's external. So external is the more preferable one. For those people that were following the chat, I know at some point I said, please don't do this type of styling for me because yeah, I know it gets messy at some point. But yeah, it's good to learn with this first, and then you can then learn the other ones. Well, it's a gradual process. So yeah, nice one. You guys should keep it up. Still study more about it. Use W3 School, use Free Code Camp. I think those resources will help you. Yeah. Thank you from that's all from me.
Thank you very much, mentor. That's like you. Okay, thank you guys for joining today. Well, we spent 16 minutes. That's a lot of time. I enjoyed the class, I enjoyed the interaction, the questions and all. Let's meet again on Thursday, same time, same venue, Zoom. And please don't forget, you can always reach out to me, to anybody, a mentor, I think, on the Discord channel if you have any challenge, and then if you ask questions, we are all here to help ourselves. Just drop your question. I'm very sure someone who has an idea will definitely respond and help you out on the challenge or whatever issue you have on Discord. And let's be free. Let's talk. Let's interact. You can just you can learn something. For example, maybe on the V3 school, you just come across a tag or a syntax that you see. Okay, this thing is simple code did not talk about this in class. So I think this is going to help us also. You can just come to the Discord channel and then just write it. For example, let's say we have a middle tag that we do not talk about, or maybe we have um just an HTML tag that we do not talk about in the class. Okay, we have legend, we have figure, we have text area, all of those things. Any tag that you come across while you're learning on your own, feel free to come to the chat and then drop it. Say, okay, this is what it does. You can do it for this, you can use it for this. And then it's just going to help ourselves, all of us cannot just go and see the same thing. So when we do that, it's going to like make the chat more like we have more chats, more interactive, right? There, and then you can easily understand something you did not know before. So that's just let's do that and think of ourselves. Yourself that you are posting it, you get to know better because you want to have new things. That's what I did, Sha, when I was learning, because I always like to post something, tell my people that okay, I learned this thing. But for that reason, I wouldn't want to like lag behind. I would want to like, oh, tomorrow I must have something to drop. So that will make me want to like go online and then learn a new thing so that I can learn that thing and then come and take my teaching. So that's every day I have to learn one thing as bad as it is. I have to learn one thing every day. So that's just how I will be able to like get to this. And it really helps me. So if you can do something like that, or if you have your own approach to better yourself, feel free to take it up and then we'll all take it from there. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.